Hey guys, it's Jason here from the Omni Sales team, and in today's video, we're going through one of the most important lessons you're ever going to learn in new home sales, and sales for that matter, and it's having hard conversations. I want that to sink in. Having hard conversations. How many times have you rocked up to work when you've got to present a price that's over, or you've got to present some bad news to the client, and you're just dreading it? You've got that feel of guilt, or that feel of shame, or that feel of anxiety just sweeping over your body. You're like, damn dude, I don't really want to go into this meeting because I know I'm going to get roasted. What do we do when we're faced with that challenge? What do we do when we're having to have the hard conversations? We really want to break this down and get you to psychologically change the way you consider or the way you look at this particular situation. So it doesn't matter where we are in the world, guys. We're all at some point going to have hard conversations with our friends, with our families, with our colleagues, and most importantly, with our clients. It's just a part of life. Bad things happen or mistakes happen and things go wrong, and we have to adjust and we have to fix. Now, when those situations come up, what so many people do is they run. They run from it because they are afraid of pain, or they're afraid of they're afraid of having that hard conversation. They're afraid of offending someone. They're afraid of being shouted at. They're just afraid. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with being afraid. But as a salesperson, we need to learn how to control that fear, or how to control those feelings so that we can continue to progress a sale. Because at the end of the day, you're being paid based on progression of a sale, not how mad or how upset or how happy people are. You're being paid by the progression of a sale. So when a hard conversation comes up and we have to progress a sale, what can we do and what can we think about and how can we act to move that sale forward? So number one, I want you to write this down. If I'm having a conversation, write this down. Everyone is an adult, or everybody is an adult. That's the first thing I want you to write down. Why? Because so many of us forget this. We forget this simple point. We forget that everyone we talk to is just an adult. Now, if you're an adult and you're having a conversation and someone gives you bad news, how would you react? That's the first thing I want you to think about. I want you to write down, how would I react? If I got bad news, how would I react? And think about it. Would you just stand up and start shouting at someone and cursing them and running out and slamming tables? No, you probably wouldn't, man. That's what a child does. That's what's having a tantrum. So if we remember firstly that everyone in that room is an adult, or everyone having that hard conversation is an adult, then we should understand that we're going to speak like adults. If there's a problem that comes up, we need to either find a solution or we need to express our frustration in order for us to move forward to that solution. So the thing that I tell everyone, and I've been telling people this for years, for literally years I've been telling all of the people I've ever trained with, ever worked with, I tell everybody that make sure you remember this concept, that everyone is an adult. And the way you would react to a situation is more likely how they would react to a situation. So if your natural instinct is to get up and chuck your toys out of the cot and run out, okay, well, maybe you need to have a look in the mirror first and understand that's probably not how we should be acting as adults. But most people are going to understand that problems come up. Now, are they going to be disappointed? Yes. Are they going to be frustrated? Probably. Are they going to be angry? Most likely. But they also want to build a house. Guys, they want to move forward with their transformation. At the end of the day, people forget that. People forget these clients are in your displays. They're sitting in front of you because they genuinely want help. They genuinely want the product you have. So if bad news comes up, understand that they're an adult and that you must move the conversation forward, okay? That's number one. Number two, what is your job? I want you to write that down. What is my job? What are you responsible for? What is in your pay structure, or what are you being paid to do? You are being paid to progress the sale. I used it in the previous point quite a bit, but your job ultimately is to move a sale forward. And when bad conversations and bad events and things that go wrong come up, we have to adjust and we have to make sure we can still move that sale forward. So what are we doing when we're thinking about that? So many of us get caught up. This is what we're going to be discussing next, solutions-based discussions. But so many of us get caught up when we're having these discussions with clients. We just start talking about feelings. We start talking about how we feel, how we're disappointed, how I know we screwed up there, I'm really sorry. And it's all emotion driven. Remember, your job is to move the sale forward. So if there's a problem that comes up, let's address it. Let's address it quickly. Let's address it promptly, and let's address it correctly so it either doesn't happen again or we can move that sale forward. So when we have bad news come up, the reason I wrote what is your job as number 2, it's your job to present that. It's your job to take the client through that. It's your job to get the sale moving forward. So when those hard conversations come up, it's just your job to have it. Like, so many people run from it because they're hoping, praying. How many times have you guys sat there just wishing that estimating ring you and go, oh yeah, you know, we made a mistake. Sorry, the price was right. We'll readjust that for you. Like, how many of you guys wait to have those hard conversations just for it to become even worse? Your job is to present hard. Your job is to progress the sale forward. Therefore, your job, if something comes up, is to present that. Now, the reason I say you should do this quickly is I want you to understand it like this. When I have to deliver bad news, what generally goes through my mind? Okay, so we'll take you through just a normal sale. Like, in my head, I'm like, damn, this is gonna be really tough. Like, I really don't wanna have this hard conversation because I know they're gonna get angry. So the first thing is I fear they're gonna get angry at me and then I'm gonna lose the sale. I'm gonna get to this point. There's a really important point here that we're gonna get to. I'm thinking I'm gonna lose the sale. Next, I don't wanna have that hard conversation because I don't wanna be shouted at or I don't wanna feel like I've let someone down. I don't wanna have that negative feeling with myself. So what tends to happen is I delay it. I don't do anything about it. I sit there and I'm like, I wish something's gonna change. And I purposely book an appointment out on a weekend. It's like 5 or 6 days away, just so I don't have to have that hard conversation today. Now, it's like anything in life. If you do what is hard, your life becomes easy. If you do what is easy, your life becomes hard. It's a really, really famous saying. If you do what is easy, your life will become hard. If I do what is easy and delay that conversation and not have it, my life becomes hard. How? Because I have the pressure, the anxiety, the weight of that problem resting on my shoulders for the entire week. So do you think anytime I have a conversation to anyone, I'm fully dialed in and I'm fully locked into that conversation? Of course not. I've got this other thing on my shoulder that's weighing me down. I've got this other thing on my mind that I'm thinking about. So the reason I say this, what is your job, is to present bad news. It's your job to present it quickly and promptly. It's like hot potato cakes, or hot potato if you played that game when you were younger. As soon as you get thrown a hot potato, you want to just quickly get it off you. The same with bad news. As soon as you receive bad news, we need to get on the phone and we need to have the conversation with the client. We need to book the client in straight away and we need to get them in so we can take them through to the next step, which is going to be solutions-based discussions. You need to get that client in and you need to have that conversation. The longer you put that conversation off, there's only 2 things that can happen and they're both negative. Number 1, the weight stays on your shoulders. The anxiety, the pressure, the bad feeling stays on your shoulders. Number 2, the client gets angry because if they had this information earlier, they might have been able to adjust for it quicker. So by delaying the time you give the information to the client, you're hurting yourself and the client. Now, I always say, if you are the kind of person who just does sales because you just want to make money, you don't care about people, cool, you're a psychopath, whatever. But if you're everyone else in sales, who I like to train, who I like to teach, who I like to do work with, where you're integrity-based, if it's both a negative for you and the client, you should just get that over and done with instantly. You shouldn't be delaying and you shouldn't be leaving that for later. So that's why I say your job is to present information and hard conversations quickly, promptly, and correctly so you can move on to the 3rd step. Now, before we move on to the 3rd step, I said, a lot of the time when we think about the client getting angry and we're gonna lose the sale, I want you to really consider this. I want you to write this down. Is this sale for me or is this sale for the client? Like, write those words down. Is this sale for me or is this sale for the client? Whose life is transforming by me making this sale? Whose life is getting better? Whose life is actually like, there's a whole transformational going on? The client. Guys, you're getting a few thousand, maybe $8,000, $10,000 for this. That's all that happens. You get this every other week. That's what happens in sales. Or if you're good, obviously you're getting it every day, but whatever. The point is, you're not the one that's gonna be having the transformational life, it's the client. So get out of your head, get out of that thick skull between your ears in terms of thinking that this is for me. No, this sale is a transformation for the client. So if you're sitting there thinking, oh, they're gonna get angry at me and I'm gonna lose the sale, I'm gonna lose money. No, think of it as I'm gonna let this client down and their life is not gonna be transformed the right way. I'm screwing up. Let me get you guys in. Let me fix that straight away so we can move on. And that when we move on to solutions-based discussions. This one is the most important to think about after you've got the client in. Once you've got the client in, it's all well and good to get them in. But a lot of the time, they're just gonna vent. They're just gonna tell you, problem. They're gonna look at you with those seething eyes. You know, everything you're afraid of, they're gonna do. But if you can lead and guide your client, you can get them out of that mindset. Hey guys, I totally understand. I know, I'd be mad if I were you too. I'm frustrated, it didn't go to plan like it should, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. We need to move forward and look at a solution. We need to move forward and look at what we can do as a result now. So let's say the price has gone up 50 grand. So obviously your price has gone up 50 grand due to that unforeseen rock issue we had. Look, are we comfortable to go back to the bank and get some more? Or do we want to reduce something in the house in order for us to still stay within budget? What do we want to do? I want to make sure that I get the solution done and I want to do it right now. I don't want to wait a week to get this done. It needs to happen now. We are always in the discussion of having solutions-based discussions. There is never a time where you should just get sucked into all that emotional downfall, sucked into that, like all that happens is it's a negative spiral of negative emotion that we keep going down. And that's where people feel bad. Like people want to have a good experience. So many salespeople forget this. Everybody wants to have a good experience through sales and through the construction journey. So if you get into this, like this shit show and this firestorm of negativeness, no one feels good. So let's get out of that. Address it, accept it, acknowledge it, apologize if you need to apologize. I don't care. Do whatever you need to do in the moment to get the clients to feel like they're being heard and listened to, and then move forward to a solutions-based discussion. It is key that we move and progress the sale forward. That is your job at the end of the day. And remember, every single person you talk to is an adult, and how you respond to a problem is most likely how they're going to respond to a problem. So guys, if you remember that, the next time you're having to have a hard conversation, I promise you, you're gonna feel a little bit better. It's obviously, you're gonna still, the frustration and the pain and the fear and the anxiety is still gonna be there. But when we understand that everyone's an adult, your job is to have the conversation so you can still transform the client's life and progress the sale forward at the same time. And you're gonna do it with solutions-based discussions. I promise you it's gonna come off a lot easier, it's gonna come off a lot more natural, and also you're actually doing the right thing for the client, because the client still wants that transformation and it's your job to get them there. So if it means having the hard conversation, do it quickly, do it promptly, and do it correctly, and move on to the solution so you can continue building this wonderful home for your client. So as always guys, my name is Jason. Thank you so much for watching. If you have a colleague right now that's really struggling with conversations and having them because their price keeps going up, please send them this video. Like, I'd love for you guys to share it around. If you have any objections or you have any issues, drop it down into the comments and we'll do a separate video on that. As always, thank you so much and we'll see you on the next one.